So the show builds up to the David versus Goliath fight, and it's one of the most iconic parts of the Bible. So everybody kind of knows how it ends, almost like literally the whole world. So, what was the challenge in making that still an interesting story to tell? With the conclusion kind of known by everybody.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've been working on each episode and then each segment within each episode, and so I have not even had time because it's television to kind of zoom out and just watch the episodes as a viewer, one right after the other. So I hope you enjoyed them. I look forward to that process. David and Goliath is one of the. I mean, the Bible is obviously the best-selling book of all time, and it has these moments in it. It has these big events, and many of those big events have been portrayed in one way or another, whether it's the parting of the Red Sea or the life of Christ, the crucifixion, by iconic filmmakers. When it comes to David and Goliath, there really hasn't been much in over the course of our industry to portray that event. And so I really wanted to give the myself as a fan and the audience the best portrayal possible of that event. And television really gives you the opportunity, as opposed to the films I've made, of really exploring the story and the characters over a much longer period of time. And so that was fun. And you're into crafting every detail of it. And every now and then, Michael, who plays David, and I would stop and be like, Man, we're doing David and Goliath, man. That's just as like fanboys. Like that's incredible. And I tell people I'm just one viewer, but I am the first viewer, and I love that fact, and so I love it. I love that moment and that portrayal, and I think it's emotional and it's powerful, and Michael does a great job. I think Martin is extraordinary in the series, and so just really trying to do that moment justice, and and try to really put the audience in that moment of what would it actually be like for a teenage boy with no armor to confront an entire army and a giant, leading them. Um, what would that moment be, stepping out on that battlefield? And I hope the audience feels a little what I felt when I first saw it, and then filming it, and then as we've been editing it.
One of the surprises for me watching this show was just how much of a political drama it winds up being, and I thought it was such a natural fit in retrospect. What was most interesting about exploring that time of, this transition between like the time of kings and the time of God's judges? What did you like most about that?
It's interesting, there's themes that are resonant and that are you know that that are sort of easy to empathize with. Saul is a leader that, power is his drug and he can't give it up. And he's a great dad and he's had a sort of a great run, but he can't give up the throne. And this young boy has been anointed in his place by the very same person that anointed him. And so you have that tension. So that palace intrigue, and then really studying the material and realizing that Saul represented this transition from this time of priests and judges and seers, of which Samuel, played by Stephen Lang, was the last of those, and then Saul was the first of the kings, and then yet he did not steward his power well, and so that was fascinating to me, and really what was illuminating to me was the title of the show, House of David, came from the oldest relic ever discovered related to the Bible. There's the stela that read House of David. It's like 950 BC. It dated to, and I felt that was interesting. These houses were just pitted against each other, and I wanted to humanize, the House of Saul as much as we did the House of David, and I found that to be a very interesting aspect of the story, and even the bond between Jonathan and David, that's just so interesting, and it was a fun thing to develop.